Thing successful or unsuccessful. It's not you surprising this guy because he doesn't see you coming and you sneak up on him and waffle his fan. But I know when I was in high school, that's what I thought trap was. You know, let's run the trap so we can sneak up on this guy and we don't see him. But a trap is created by the double team more than it is by the trapper. Right? All trapping schemes usually have two people blocking one on the inside of the hole, and you pull the trapper to have inside position on the man on the far side of the hole. So it's really a position play when you think about it. But the hole is not created by the man that runs in there and tries to knock the dog out of the guy that doesn't see him coming. If I ask two of my players to block one of theirs, that's where the hole better be created. We got one guy beating our two, and we're not going to win that day anyway. We're playing guys that are better than us, right? But the point about the trap is that position is so important. So that if I pull and I run right at John, I am going to assume that he is a better athlete than me, and that makes it safe, right? When I get cocky and I assume I'm better than everybody else, and that's when I'm going to get my fanny kicked in, right? So that I want to pull, and I want you to understand that if you run straight at John, you're taking nothing away from him, right? He has the ability to try to dance around and make you miss. He may be able to shoot upfield into the backfield, or he could come back across your face and close the hole, because the problem here is that as you run at the middle of him, you've not told the running back what you're doing. The running back has no idea how you're going to be able to block this guy. Even if you're going to put your head inside, it doesn't mean that he can't go either way. So what I want to do is put myself in the highest percentage position possible to ensure my success. Alright? So that means I'm going to run to his inside, or I'm going to climb up into the line of scrimmage and take his inside away, so that it will be absolutely clear to the running back where he should run the football. Alright? So that as I pull, we know our crossover is a weight change and a crossover, and now I'm climbing up into the line of scrimmage so that I have the inside position taken away from John. So that now, yeah, he can go ahead and run upfield in the backfield, but he'll only make a play if the running back's dumber than a stone and tries to run out that road. Because any running back who can see this situation knows that he's going to run inside of me off my family. So that now, if I've got this position, John has to run through the middle of me to try to make the play on the running back. Right? So again, like I said last night, even if you're one of those guys that hangs out in the airport with the top knot, right? And you're a pacifist, you don't believe in any kind of contact or hard hitting or whatever in your life, you'd still be successful because it would take too much time to run through you to make the play. So position's everything. Now obviously you play the game because you enjoy that contact, right? So that if you've got position and then you take off and waffle this guy, you got yourself a pretty good technique and a play that's going to work. Alright? So again, all it is, the important thing is that you know your crossover technique, the weight change and a crossover, you want to get up inside and now strike a blow, and whenever you are trapping to the right, you will swing your tail. Alright? You'll use your right shoulder and you'll swing your tail inside to keep your fanny pointing at the running back as he goes through the hole. Alright? Let's hustle back.
Go! Come on, get across that line. Up. Swing it, everybody. Right shoulder.
Now, when you're logging a man, you want to give him the idea that you're trying to trap him, but then you're going to use the opposite shoulder and you're going to wheel your fanny so that you can pin him inside. Because this is a conflict that the offense gives defensive players. You're John and you're a defensive end and we've been running some traps. Alright? But he's been getting kicked out when we're making yardage score. And if he comes out of the game, his coach comes over and says, John, you're supposed to seal that. When you see that trapper, you look inside, go meet the trap. Alright? So now, when we see that starting to happen, and he's aggressive to meet the trap, then what we do is he's giving us the opportunity to run outside of him. So we'll fake the trap, or we'll have a path that will look like trap. But when we get to contact point, instead of putting our head inside to kick him out when we log, we'll put our head on the backfield side of his body, strike a blow, and then swing our tail to pin it down, and we'll run the ball outside. Okay? So that this would be like a trap option type situation, things of that nature. So that what a log is, it's the same. You're going to cross over, you're in here. Now, you will not climb quite so far up inside as you do a trap. But by the same token, you're smart enough to understand this. You do not want to be inside this guy when you trap, and then lack the discipline to be a yard deep when you go to log, because what's that tell the guy? What's it tell us? you're telling him exactly what you're trying to do. When you're inside, you're going to trap him. When you're deep, you're going to log him. You don't want him to be able, you don't want your path to be that different that he can tell the difference. Because you want him to come to meet you when you're logging. Right? That's going to help you get this thing turned. So it's a weight change and a crossover, and now you should run right at the middle of it. Right? Because now that's subtle enough that he can't tell what you're trying to do. That looks like trap. All right? And now as you go to run right out, and just before contact is made, now you throw your head, and when you log to the right, you use your left shoulder. So that's where it's different than trap. When you trap right, you always use your right shoulder. When you log right, you always use your left shoulder. All right? So I come in here, straight the same kind of blow, and now to finish the block, I work my feet, swing my tail, and pin him inside. All right? And what's more important on doing it on the dummies is that you get the idea of the type of depth that you need when you cross the vertical path of the man you're hooking. So that right now you're assuming the dummy is that end man on the line of scrimmage that you want to hook or waggle. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and cross over, pull, and come off the line of scrimmage. And you're going to gradually, you're going to have an angle so that you will cross the vertical path of the man that you're hooking at about 2 yards. All right? Now, the other thing that defines a hook technique is how far outside the man you get. You get a full man outside, so you take 2 more steps and you pivot here. All right? One of the biggest mistakes that you guys are making when I see the waggle drills and I see us drill the waggle into place is that you guys want to make it like a half-ass log. All right? And you're going to lose the distance that you're trying to have, which is time to you, which is reaction time for you. All right? You guys are pulling. Right when you get to the vertical, you're starting to bend up in here. You're not pivoting, you're bending up in here, and then you get outside position like this. And this isn't good because now if he decides to take off on you before you can get back on him, you're beat right away because once he takes 1 step, he's past you. All right? The reason why we have this depth is so that I can get my width, or I can attempt to get my width. And if he does want to fold on me to the inside, then I've got this 6-foot space. That is, like I said, it's reaction time to me. I get out here and he starts to take off, and then I've got that space to come back and get a piece of him while the quarterback's running the ball on the outside. So understand that the hook position is 2 yards behind the man you're hooking and 1 full man's position to the outside, and then you play from here. Then you become aggressive. Once you get the position, now decide how he's going to play. Is he trying to beat you? Is he trying to go across your face? So if he tries to beat you, you put your head on the inside. If you think you're going to try to skate across your face to contain, then you put your head on the outside, use your left shoulder, and work to swing your tail. So all we're going to do when we drill this now is coaches are going to say hit. You're going to take off, you're going to come running here, you're going to pivot with depth, and then come back and strike a blow on that back. All right. Good job, Ted.
That was a shuttle blast.
Good job. All right, good. Okay, now let's work on this double team, and then we're done with our shoulder skills for this morning. Let me have, what's your first name, Justin? Come here, Justin. Do the tack. Post lead, we're double teaming. I want to step through this so you should see how 2 people should fit on this block to make this thing work the way we'd like to. I'm the post, Justin's the lead. We should be about, they're all right, about 2 foot apart. So my first step on my post is going to be here. Now Justin knows that he doesn't have to stop penetration, so it should be a weight change and a crossover is your first step. All right? So we're both here. Now, on the second step, I'm going to strike my blow, and Justin's going to strike his blow, so we're here. And now, just wait. Now, it's my job to swing the double team, so I've got to kick my fanny around to meet his, and it's his job to create the movement on this bag. So as soon as I feel his forces begin to move this thing, then I'm going to start to move my feet. All right? And then we both jump in there. And we're both in here nice and tight, hip to hip, and then we drive the thing laterally parallel to the line of scrimmage. These dummies should not go off the line of scrimmage at all. And if they do, it's the postman's fault. All right? So let's hustle. All right? That's why we started the other practice, or the first practice, with surface, stance, things of that nature. So that when you get the shoulder work here on these bags, you understand that we're meshing 2 of those techniques, aren't we? So what has to happen is your base, the base of what you're doing, your stance, your pulling technique, they're all involved in what you do with these techniques in terms of how you strike blows and what steps you take and things of that nature. So it's easy for you guys to lose focus, all right, on the initial things. Like it's easy, we're going to get up here, I'm going to talk about a trap. So when you go to drill the trap, you're thinking about the things I said about the trap and forgetting all about, well, I'm going to stand up and pull this time because I'm worried about getting inside out and throwing a big forearm, all right? remember that all of your movements are built upon it, just like laying a card on top of